All right, last time we spun in circles with uncertainty the whole time.
So let's continue!
Yeah,
No?
I mean, I
Okay.
guess fundamentally that's sort of it, isn't it?
Speaking of spinning in circles and uncertainty till the end of time, we're the Bittersweet Gamers.
Fall, my tears. I'm the opinionator.
I'm We Squared.
We don't know. We don't know if it is Gundam or if it isn't.
Well, because here's the thing. If he's the killer, this makes sense. If he isn't, this makes sense! This is the kind of thing someone accused of killing would bring up, whether they were or not.
Plus, the stopped elevator should have been facing the grape house side.
I mean, what are we gonna do if we bring up the hatch and he's like, what? There was something like that? Like, you know, because if he's not him, he wouldn't know.
If so, the human who used the elevator would have left it at grape house.
So are you saying that someone broke the elevator after Nekomaru came across? That makes sense. To keep both sides from investigating.
Yeah, this was like the first thing we found.
For these reasons, it's an indisputable fact that the killer destroyed the elevator at grape house.
Since it's the first thing we found, that's why it's the last thing that's come up.
Oh, interesting how that turns out.
And what's wrong with that?
If the elevator was broken at Grape House, you wouldn't be able to return to Strawberry House.
However, I was already at Strawberry House. I was present when the alarm in the lounge started ringing.
It's true, we don't know if it was a ladder under that hatch or what. We've just assumed it, and Nagito suddenly appeared in Grape House, not Strawberry House. But, I mean, we've assumed that you could go between them.
Which means your assumption is clearly wrong.
Maybe there's an opening in the Monokuma archive that no one ever would have gone to except for us, because we're crazy.
Are you serious? And here I thought it's already been decided.
Have you learned your lesson, pitiful humans? You cannot overcome this contradiction.
Man, I do understand that isolation.
That's wrong. When something is obviously wrong, that's when a contradiction is born. There's no such thing as a contradiction that can't be overcome.
Well, roughly, I guess. Guess it is. Okay, Fuyuhiko's account, wall clock, broken doorknob, good night button, radio clock.
And something else.
That elevator was
Clock's alarm timer.
the only means of travel between the two houses.
Well, that's the part that isn't
As
true.
long as that elevator was broken, your assumption collapses.
Guess it is you, huh?
Plus, the elevator was broken at Grape House.
I mean, that's true.
If the killer cannot return to Strawberry House,
Since I was at Strawberry House at that time, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
That's not
there was a
necessary.
secret passageway.
Right there.
How much longer do you plan to lecture
We
me?
remember Secret Passageway
Why
and
don't we
shoot it
stop
at
this already?
the first one.
Yeah, there we go.
There's no question that the following crime is impossible.
Matter of pride at this
It would have
point.
been different if they had an accomplice.
Well, technically he's got 4, but...
There was a secret passageway.
That elevator was the only means of travel between
That's right,
the
you
two
jerks.
houses.
This time it is a secret passage.
May not have been in a locker, but...
We knew there'd be one eventually.
No, there should have been another way to move between the two houses without the elevator.
It's also true that we never actually saw it, and that's why we never saw it. So maybe we wouldn't notice.
Right.
Ah.
Makes sense to me.
Such a method does not exist.
Then why don't we ask the person who actually used that method?
Wow, I'm picking a lot of people.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
You're the only one! Nagito, you should know. What are you talking about?
Ha!
Don't play dumb. You appeared so suddenly that one time because you used that method, right?
Nagito, why are you here?
Because I showed up. Isn't it weird how I'm
There's a
talking it
secret
like that?
passage connecting the first floor of Strawberry House to the third floor of Grape House. Isn't that right?
Jeez. Once again, I let the reserve course show up.
Just like he has been this whole game. Everybody's been contributing and Hajime's been the main contributor.
Right.
Have you not noticed this?
No, no, no. The world only exists through the hopeful filter that he views it through.
But you're right. There's a door on the floor of the Octagon, which is on the first floor of Strawberry House. After I opened the door and went down, surprise, surprise! I ended up in the Monokuma archive, which is on the third floor of Grape House.
Meaning the third floor and the fourth floor are actually connected.
Plus, once you've cleared the final dead room once, you can pass through it as many times as you want.
If they used that secret passage, they could have gone between the two houses as much as they wanted.
Easily.
Infinity Unlimited Flame!
Ah! I'm on fire!
Not Infinity Unlimited Flame!
I was unaware of the existence of the final dead room.
But
That's not possible.
Monokuma told us about the final dead room.
There's no way they didn't know.
That is merely an illusion you have fabricated from your own suspicion. If you value your life, you should stop with your scrutiny.
There's no way I can stop.
What did you say?
Our lives are on the line!
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Then drop the act and just get angry already. Show us your true self, like you keep saying. Maybe if you had this situation wouldn't have come up.
Wire. That can only be found in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple
Yikes!
planes. Provided you use a spacious wormhole.
Good
However,
lord!
frail, I say. Your decayed illusion.
Okay, you're gonna have to use
Shall I
focus,
feed you to
dude.
the progeny of vile deities?
Oh, some outer cuts.
Right. Yeah. Exhausting is a good way to describe it.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes. Provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail, I say.
I see.
Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
Woo!
Well, you
I
made
already
it.
proved the secret passage exists. The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur!
In this one.
If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion, at least pray to the key which dwells in the light.
What? Oh! Well done!
Okay, well, in that case, we know what to do.
If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blood.
Hamo.
Allow me to cut through those words.
Couldn't get it anywhere else.
That's a good thing we have that skill, huh?
The wire used to string up Nekomaru's body.
Why do you think we got that skill?
The hammer that looked like the weapon, and the chain on the door in the tower. Those are all the items that weren't in Funhouse. Where did the killer obtain them?
The only place I can think of is the Octagon.
I mean, there were a bunch of giant Donkey Kong-esque hammers.
There were various weapons and tools there. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff like wires, hammers, and chains too.
Since those items were used in the crime, there's no doubt that the killer went to the Octagon.
Yep.
If that's the case, they obviously know about the secret passage too, right?
Because Monokuma would tell him.
Well, not necessarily. They just find it on their own.
Also that.
It seems this is the end. Normally, we'd end up listening to Hajime lecture us with a very long summary of the case.
Oh, we're skipping that this time?
But there's no reason to waste any more time on this opening act. So I'm going to end this right now.
Hey, what are you...
But my closing argument.
First of all, by messing with all the clocks in the building, Gundam tried to lure only Nekomaru,
It's got the music,
the
too.
elevator was probably broken by that point.
Makoto, is that you?
Nekomaru wasn't able to go to Great Tower, which was supposed to be the meetup point.
I have no
so
control.
He tried going over to Strawberry Tower.
So in the splash
just like
page
we
at the
did when
end,
we
is it
found
gonna
out the
be
elevator was
Nagito
broken.
versus
Well,
Gundam?
It's obvious he'd attempt that. At that time, we didn't know the two towers were the exact same place. Also, the button in Strawberry Hall wasn't broken, so he was easily able to enter Strawberry Tower. But surprise! Gundam was waiting for Nekomaru's arrival.
Hold on. If Nekomaru didn't go to Strawberry Tower, what would the killer have done then?
We've already established this.
What on earth is going on here?
I don't know.
This whole time, other than the method, which, I mean, we had the method, no problem.
Right.
Other than the method, this whole time, everything's been so off. It's not that I'm saying I doubt the conclusion, but
You're suspicious.
I'm just so suspicious. Nagito is ramming everything through, saying there doesn't need to be a closing argument, starting by saying the point of view killer is, or the point of view character was the killer. Anybody could have gone to the final dead room. He did, and we were squawking for people to do it.
Right?
Because then people would have known this. Maybe Gundam went there, if he's not the killer. I'm not saying that I doubt the conclusion.
Well, whoever is the killer would have had to have gone there.
Well, of course, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is any number of people could have gone there.
You're right.
That's what I mean. So if Gundam isn't the killer but went there, but again, that's not the point that I'm talking about. But
Okay.
Why is this so? There's still more twists in this, and I have to say that we're completely flat-footed about it is pretty excellent. Also, the gameplay segments in this trial have also been quite excellent and very weird. It's
Very
like
off-putting.
there is something that is about to happen, whether it's just a giant break from the previous game or dropping the big plot twist. It is about to happen because this is all twisted up. Even Monokuma is like, what's wrong with you? What are you talking about? I really want to know what it is, and I really enjoy it, but it's also like, so conflicted!
There's kind of a feeling of apprehension, like we're waiting for it, like,
Yeah.
At least that's what I feel.
Apprehension about being right! Just have very little confidence in this.
Their plan was a balancing act of uncertainties, but even if they failed, they probably wouldn't have minded. They can just greet everyone the next morning as if nothing happened, and come up with a different plan.
I guess that's true. Even if nothing worked out the way that they
Yeah.
wanted it to, nothing would have actually happened, so...
You're right.
And without such a risky plan, they wouldn't have been able to lure him at all.
I'm going to continue summarizing the case, okay? Through this, Gundam successfully lured Nekomaru to Strawberry Tower.
Or maybe that was actually
There's
just
no
a
way he
stop
could
to
fight
say,
head-on with
yeah,
the
we
wrong
know that
body
there's a lot of
Nekomaru.
uncertainties.
So by pressing the goodnight button, he rendered Nekomaru powerless without fighting him.
Hold on! You... What did you just say? That I didn't battle?
Like, nobody
It's Nekomaru!
nobody thinks of things the way you do. This whole game, we've generally been extremely positive towards you. It's not that I'm criticizing the way that Gundam acts.
Right?
It's like, I get it. As a nerdy guy who used to be this age, who had friends that were this age, and I mean, I get it as somebody who's often felt a great sense of isolation. I get it as a coping mechanism. It is not my intent to be critical, but these are the sorts of things that aren't going to move anybody. They don't even move you, man.
What's wrong with that?
Don't mess with me! Don't mess with me! I cannot ignore those words!
Why are you angry all of a sudden?
Is Nagito going to do the panic talk action?
You fools do not understand! You don't understand at all!
No, we don't. We've been saying that. Tell us.
Ha! You make me laugh! After all this time, you still don't understand anything at all!
I don't understand anything. What does that mean?
It appears I cannot finish just yet. Maybe I'm just a human destined for hell. However, I cannot finish just yet. I cannot finish!
What do you intend to do?
Okay, so Gundam's English voice actor is quite good. He's quite fine. I have the amount of complaints I have is represented by the letter O, 0. Okay.
Oh.
But I really want to listen to this trial in Japanese. It should be highly amusing.
It's obvious! I'm going to destroy your illusory assumptions!
Are you saying you still have more? You still have room to argue?
Your words. You said I pressed Nekomaru's goodnight button. However, that button was on the back of Nekomaru's neck. To press it, I'd have to get behind
We've
him.
already figured this one out too, man.
It's not easy to get the drop on Coach Nekomaru.
It's even more difficult if it's a one-on-one situation.
Ding, 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 ding. Isn't that your hint? How many pairs of ears do you possess?
Mm-hmm. I hope we don't have to do a Hangman's Gambit and spell out the entire technique.
I guess what Gundam said about the 4 Dark Divas of Destruction was actually true, wasn't it? I guess they truly did have great power, didn't they? One or possibly all 4, but at least one of Gundam's hamsters beat Nekomaru.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? If you look at it like that, well done, Ultimate Breeder, but...
Just as I thought, truly frail. Succumbing so easily to this simple argument, it was just a mere illusion. If you want to set me up as the killer, at least surpass your own human limitations.
That's wrong, Gundam. You're the one who's wrong.
Such a wonderful line. However, I cannot say that I'm satisfied. Listen well. I shall teach you 2 tips for making someone admit their defeat. First, you must crush them with your own overwhelming power. And as for the other, you must provide a reason that will persuade that human.
Evidence is everything in a court of law, etc.
You have not fulfilled either of those yet.
I guess you really don't want to admit it. Then, just as you've requested, I will provide an argument that'll leave you no choice but to be persuaded. Okay.
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesies! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied!
Crushed
Show me the
as
cadaver.
David prophesied.
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire!
Reload, dude,
Wither.
reload.
Crushed as David prophesied! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied!
You don't need to worry about
For the
reloading.
Tanaka
Just fire as
Empire.
fast as possible.
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied! Show me the cadaver! It's Nekomaru's back. Do you really think I can get...
This is the end!
Yeah, I mean... that one's not exactly hard to put together.
The Dark
You
Four,
didn't get behind
Devas!
Nekomaru. You should have been able to press the button on the back of his neck.
And if you didn't want us to think of this as easily, then you shouldn't have kept trying to show off with it.
As long as you had the power of the hamsters you keep with you.
Oh?
And now that his hamsters have been complimented, that's when he meekly backs off.
Uh-huh.
Are you seriously saying he used his hamsters to press the button on the back of Nekomaru's neck?
Okay, guys, I know how it sounds, but...
Of course that'd be impossible for a normal hamster. But it would have been possible for Gundams.
Dude may be a weirdo, but he's quite good at what he did. And
He's an
besides,
ultimate.
we've seen it. We saw it in the second trial, or the third, I mean, and we saw it earlier here too.
In fact, we saw that with our very own eyes, right?
Emissary of evil, in accordance with our ancient contract, the time has come to lend me your aid. Pierce through, Supernova Silver Fox, Sandy!
Choo choo! Ah, it pressed the button?
Truly, this is the skyline lamentation art of the demon mouse. Soon the door of destiny shall open.
Now that you mention it, after Ibuki was killed in the music venue, one of Gundam's hamsters retrieved the piece of wallpaper from the baton lighting, right?
Yeah, I just was mentioning that.
Hey, with your friends and their exceptionally smart brains, it must have been possible to secretly get one of them behind Mekamaru and press the button on the back of his neck.
How about it, Gundam?
Quit turning away from reality, Gundam.
Not just myself, but you actually brought up how splendid my subordinates are. I have no recourse but to admit it.
Admit it? Did you say you admit it?
It appears I've obtained a one-way ticket to hell. Fine! Then you must trample me underfoot and advance. Victory can only be built upon a foundation of corpses. You cannot find peace without sacrifice anywhere.
Well, I guess in Gundam, quite a lot of characters die.
I didn't want to draw that comparison.
Now, trample this life. Trample it as though it were mere trash on the side of the road.
Just for once, can you actually admit whether or not it's true?
Pull the curtain strings of this worthless performance with your own two hands.
I guess that's what he's doing.
Oh, now I get to do it. Okay. Setting the alarm. Elevator.
Quite complicated with the circuitry.
Who set the lounge's clock alarm?
Yeah, it's not this one.
Who's
So
in the lounge?
Nekomaru shows up.
Who was in the lounge since early morning? It was Fuyuhiko.
Right. I love that stride.
Ka-tunk, ka-tunk, ka-tunk.
Hello, fellow humans. I, Mekamaru, will...
Have arrived! And then after he goes through the elevator...
That's pretty excellent.
I like how their eyes are glowing.
Pretty excellent.
Go, my four dark devas of destruction!
And caught up in their pace, Nekomaru is hit by this extremely powerful attack. And then there's that... Did you think you could oppose me? And what...
Nekomaru's weakness is the goodnight button, obviously. And then once he's down, he opens the clock somehow? Sets the timer. Ties up his foot to the cable. And then the wire probably goes...
We still don't have anything.
Yeah,
Looks like
yeah.
most everything we have is...
I like the dark miasma around him.
We may have the button, too. There we go, that's it. The button right there.
Chow!
And
Oh, so
then-
he just pulled something out and crushed it in his hand!
So normally looking at the over-dramatic killer in these has always been pretty amusing, but it seems to really fit with Gundam.
For Gundam, yeah. Going into Grape Tower. Sees
Okay, and that's where
Nekomaru
he-
up there.
That's going to be where he dropped the hammer, isn't it?
What was the fake weapon left at the tower? There's a huge hammer! Then he puts
Then
the
he
chain
walks
around
back
the door.
and... Oh! Oh no! And then the extremely sad sadness as he sees, I mean, like the frown.
Yeah, just a big...
Yeah, then he sees everything that's happening, and conveniently...
Who gathered at the lounge? Everyone! Including the killer who's standing with his arms crossed. Meanwhile, Nekomaru wakes up, struggles, and that would be because of
the wire.
I think that's earlier when we.
Okay, I wouldn't be surprised.
The Nekomaru falls because the handle lands on the pillar. Oh, just smash!
And that's the noise that everybody.
And Akane heard the rumbling noise.
Well, no, because Akane's right there.
Oh. Not in here.
Yeah, and Hamster and Murder was there.
Nekomaru's weakness is the hamster pressed it! Alright.
So it's the wire then.
And then the wire, yes.
And that's the second phase.
Stock 3!
So it's Hajime. What's the Hajime one?
The Hajime one is I woke up at...
Okay, so...
Alarm set for 5:30. It's 5 a.m. right now, which is when Fuyuhiko saw Nekomaru. Why did Nekomaru fall? That would be like the doorknob coming off.
Yeah, we don't have that one. That'll be in the last stock. And that's Hajime.
Yes!
Because, I mean, Akane was already there, so it wouldn't be Akane, and that's everyone hearing the noise, which is what the yellow is.
Right, so that's going to be Nekomaru falling, that handle coming off.
Yeah.
Who set the lounge's clock alarm?
Well, that's not really the answer.
Here's everything that happened in this case.
Well, I mean...
That wasn't quite the question that was asked.
Yeah,
Let's first go over the many tricks the killer prepared before they committed the crime.
It was set, doesn't answer who said it, but, I mean,
Well, you
okay.
know, fish take agrees with fish take. Doorknob agrees with doorknob.
I mean, via process of elimination, that was it.
First, they destroyed the contact elevator. This separated Nagito and the others in Strawberry House from our group in Grape House. Next, they lured Nekomaru out by himself by turning back all the clocks in the funhouse by 2 hours. Additionally, in order to secure an alibi, the killer went to the Strawberry House lounge and set the wall clock's alarm to 5:30 a.m.
It just occurred to me, did he just open the hatch and just be like, oh, well, I'll just take this off and throw it over there?
After finishing their preparations, the killer went to Strawberry Tower with the necessary tools in hand. They obtained these tools from the Octagon, which you can enter once you clear the final dead room.
Boom!
The killer discovered the secret of the funhouse faster than anybody else.
Behold my ultimate weapons!
That secret being, Strawberry House and Grape House are actually the same building.
The presentation is so Gundam.
On the morning of the incident, Nekomaru woke up and headed over to Grape Tower for a specific reason. There, Fuyuhiko, who was at the lounge by coincidence, witnessed Nekomaru.
Do you see the kind of sunken cheeks Fuyuhiko has because they haven't been eating?
According to Fuyuhiko's testimony, that was around 5 a.m.
Well, I guess he dropped all the water weight.
By that point, the killer had already messed with our perception of time.
I kind of wish that Nekomaru would be walking with squeaky footsteps instead of clanky ones, though.
In actuality, Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru at 7 a.m.
That would have been really funny, yeah.
That's also the same time Monokuma Tai Chi begins. Nekomaru went to Grape Tower to participate in that. However, because the contact elevator was broken, Nekomaru was unable to go to Grape Tower. So he decided to try going to Strawberry Tower.
Four dark
The killer was
divas of
waiting for him there.
destruction!
With the power of hamsters, they were able to press the good night button on the back of Nekomaru's neck.
By the power of hamsters, I am He-Man!
This forced him to enter sleep mode, rendering him immobile. From there, the killer began preparing to use the ultimate weapon. First, they set the alarm in Nekomaru's chest to 7:30 a.m. so he'd wake up. Then they tied him up with a metal wire, tied the tip of the wire into a loop, and hung it on the doorknob. After leaving Strawberry Tower, the killer then destroyed the door button to Strawberry Hall. They did this to keep us from entering Strawberry Tower, and to keep us from discovering the secret of the building's structure that they used to kill Nekomaru. Then, they used the secret octagon passageway to travel to Grape House. After arriving at Grape Hall, they pressed the button to open the door to the tower. When that happened, the elevator-like floor of the tower began descending. And Nekomaru's body was still inside, dangling upside down in midair from the wire. The killer entered Grape Tower to see if their setup was successful. And placed a hammer on the floor to look like the weapon, then wrapped a chain around the back door.
Huh. I wasn't really expecting it was like that, actually. I was kind of thinking that was just set up in the first place, but whatever.
This was done to make us falsely believe we couldn't enter the tower from Strawberry Hall. With this, the killer finished their setup and tried to go back to their room using the secret passage, so they could craft their alibi when Nekomaru died from the fall. But something unexpected happened. Fuyuhiko, who saw Nekomaru earlier, was still at the lounge. As a result, the killer couldn't return to their room, and with no options available, time ran out.
Literally.
The lounge's wall clock alarm started ringing at 5:30. Well, actually 7:30.
That is the most gaunt and horrible-looking zombie Kazuichi.
If he had waited for everyone to gather and be distracted by the clock, he might have been able to slip past them. But I guess if he tried to slip past them and they did notice him, that would just make him more suspicious.
To avoid a worst-case scenario, the killer was forced to appear in front of Fuyuhiko with the others. When the wall clock's alarm rang, that was also the same time Nekomaru was waking up. He woke up while he was still hanging upside down, so he couldn't help but sway his body powerfully. Originally, the loop of wire was only supposed to slip off the doorknob. But because there was a heavier load than expected, the doorknob ended up breaking.
And because he jimmied with it earlier.
Nekomaru fell from the 4th floor all the way to the 1st floor. He crashed into the pillar, which decapitated him on impact, and died.
Jeez.
The sound of Nekomaru's impact echoed throughout the funhouse. However, by this point, the killer's plan was about to fail, thanks to the broken doorknob and Fuyuhiko. Meaning, the killer is someone who wouldn't have heard the alarm if they were in the deluxe room. They also wouldn't have been able to return to their guest room, because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge. That someone is Gundam Tanaka. I can't think of anyone else but you.
Ah, Gundam.
Splendid. That was splendid. For a mere human, you did quite well.
Stop. Stop it already.
Yeah.
Poor Akane, too.
Yeah.
Stop using weird words to avoid the truth.
Like I said. Just...
Or I'll friggin' kill you myself! I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe. You killed Nekomaru?
You know, I can't imagine any reason other than either isolation or lack of self-confidence for Gundam to end up with the personality that he did. But a lack of self-confidence is utterly ridiculous when you consider his already professional standing.
Yeah!
But isolation, of course I understand that. But the thing about it is that compared to other people, who have been isolated in this series so far, he wasn't. He just thought he was.
Especially with how Sonia's been treating him this entire time.
I cannot believe something like that!
You don't wish to forgive me? Do you feel regret? Then finish it! Cast your impure votes for Gundam Tanaka! My beloved, deadly foes, let the voting time begin!
Even now, he's still keeping up the bravado.
Just drop it for once, man.
This result isn't all that exciting.
What do you mean by that?
Now then, please pull the lever in front of you and cast your vote.
Is it because we won again?
Who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Is Gundam just continuing to hide in terror, even at the end?
Maybe that's it, because Gundam isn't breaking down like everyone else, and this frickin' sadist gets off on that.
Well, it doesn't matter who gets off on it, or if anybody gets off on it at all. It's like, what I'm saying is the reason that he's Gundaming until the bitter end. Is he just that afraid? Is he just hiding that much?
Please pull the lever! Crap! I bit my tongue at the most important part!
Yeah, well, nobody really cares about you, so let's move on.
Stop trying to deflate the mood.
What a waste. What a miserable waste. It'd be bad if I bit my tongue again, so I'll speak slow. Wait a minute, I'm a robot. It doesn't matter, actually. Judging from the results, you guys were correct once again. Getting 4 in a row without any mistakes is a splendid achievement. Though I guess if you only got 1 mistake, that's the only mistake you never get. That's right. The one who killed a robotic Nekomaru in the amazing funhouse was the man bearing a misspelled name of a robot. It was Gundam Tanaka!
Nice!
Yay! I said all that without biting my tongue. Are you proud of me?
I'm so happy for you.
Now then.
Now that we've decided who the killer is, let's do the execution already and get this over with.
Hold on. It's true the class trial is finished, but that doesn't mean the incident is over. We can't finish yet until we hear it from Gundam.
Jeez.
No matter what he says, it won't change a thing. Well, I have no right to stop you either, so do whatever you like.
Fall, my tears.
Why do you want to talk to one who has lost?
It's not about winning or losing!
The loser merely leaves. It would just be unnecessary for me to say something. Let me leave with dignity. But, I mean, it's not dignity.
It's not dignity. You're gonna die!
Listen well.
Is what I would like to say. But for honor's sake, I shall correct one thing.
Correct?
How pitiful.
You guys said I made Nekomaru powerless without fighting him. That, however, is a great mistake.
What? Why does that even matter?
Fine.
Nekomaru did fight. That is no mistake. And because he fought, he lost. And died.
Damn it!
Lost and died?
This, too, must be the will of causality.
Oh, how he doesn't view Nekomaru as a living thing.
And perhaps if he wouldn't have struggled so hard, like when he was bound up with the wire.
Ah! Yeah, maybe something like that.
If he was just trying to cling to life,
There are many ways he could have done so. However, he did not allow that.
You.
What do you mean? Explain! Fine, then. Then I shall reveal it all.
Let's make history.
Within the final dead room, I discovered the secret of the funhouse. And I devised a killing plan utilizing that secret. By tampering with all the clocks in the building, I succeeded in luring Nekomaru to the tower. And this is what happened.
Is this going to be like Chuny World? This isn't what happened.
You're right.
Nekomaru and I were alone in the tower, standing face to face with one another. I should say I expected as much from Nekomaru. He sensed my subtle killing intent and instantly understood the situation. And we had ourselves a stare down. In that situation, if he wanted to run away, it would have been easy for him to do so.
So that's what he means. He could have run away, he could have called for help, or he could have squashed Gundam like a bug, but he did neither of those things.
Ah, okay.
But he did not turn his back to me.
So, well, I guess Gundam did fight him and win in his own way, but...
By not just...
Well, it didn't really matter. The idea was for the hamsters to hit the button.
Yeah.
Instead, he chose a fight that risked life and death.
That is...
A fight that risked life and death?
Let me tell you this.
He was serious, too. He gave it his all to try to kill me.
Huh?
If I had died instead, the mystery surrounding the case would have been even more complicated. You would never know why I, the victim, went to the tower by myself.
I can see it!
Nobody would know that the victim, me, was actually the one who planned the whole thing!
Could it be?
Mechamaru really did that?
Sensing even my subtle killing intent, as expected of you, Nekomaru.
This scorching, stinging, tense atmosphere. I've been a team manager for so long, I'd nearly forgotten this.
Good lord!
This is great! What a comforting atmosphere!
Did he used to just be some, like, awful Bancho hooligan wandering, like, the high school wilderness, in his 9th grade year, smashing everybody into oblivion?
Did he manage some MMA teams or something?
That's a great one.
And what is your reason? Do you intend to resolve this situation by killing me?
I am the Warlock, Gundam Tanaka. Heroes, Lords of Darkness, and even the gods themselves flee from me.
It's true he won the fight. I mean, he did it by being Gundam, but he did it.
That's true.
I need not cling to any trivial reason. I'm simply going to kill you because your very existence is an annoyance.
You'll drench your soul with evil until the bitter end, huh? Splendid!
Well, this worked out better for anybody than imagined, I guess.
In response to your spirit, I shall kill you with all of my might. I won't go easy on you. Don't even think about holding back. Don't waste your breath on cowardly tactics. Give me everything you got.
Nekomaru Nidai, your blood will drench the foundation of my empire!
What are we even watching?
How much of this is true? Probably all of it. And how much of this needs to be translated from Gundam?
This might actually be about right.
It does seem like the sort of thing Nekomaru would kind of get into.
Maybe there's some embellishing going on, but not that much.
That is...
Why? Why did you fight? We're all friends. Why couldn't you stop this? Even if both sides agreed, it was still wrong.
I will not argue. I have no intention of forcing my values upon you.
Let me tell you this.
However, I must say this. What's the point of living if you're just waiting until you finally die.
You weakling!
There's nothing courageous about that. That is abandonment, a mere feeling of resignation.
Wait! Are you telling us to just wait until we starve to death? I'd rather have that happen to us than have our friends kill each other.
Huh? Do you mean that you'd rather die?
Fall, my tears.
Ever since we were locked inside that building, everyone had been dominated by that feeling of abandonment. However, nothing is born from resignation. That is simply a reason to give up.
If you flinch, you will die!
Giving up on life, that's just an insult to life itself.
Let me ask.
Have you fools heard of the term dog eat dog?
Cannibalism?
Fine.
In zoology, cannibalism is a commonly observed phenomenon.
Animals eat what they can.
Many creatures at some point in their life, that's one word, not two. Many creatures at some point in their lifespan engage in cannibalism.
Listen well.
That is what it means to live. If you say killing for the sake of living is evil, then what would you call giving up on life itself?
I shall engulf this world.
If a world would consider that justice, then I will fight that world with every last fiber of my being.
Well, that is something that the two of us agree on very much. I do fight for what I believe in, after all.
Giving up on life and choosing death is nothing but a blasphemy toward life.
I renounce you!
It is a violation of the natural order! It is the arrogance of humanity! It is a justification of my actions, so I do not have to feel the full burden of my guilt.
You.
Are you saying all that to try to justify what you did?
Kane's pretty on top of things.
But it sounds like Nekomaru felt the same, too. That's why they fought, right?
Damn it.
Fine.
That man had the courage to die when he needed to die. That is why he challenged me to our battle.
What about Hajime? When did Hajime challenge you to a battle? When did Akane challenge you to a battle? When did Nagito challenge you to a battle? When did Sonya challenge you to a battle? When did Kazuichi challenge you to a battle? Nobody else consented to that.
Regardless, as I've already said, I do not intend to force my values upon you fools. I have betrayed you all. That is the absolute truth.
Fall, my tears.
But even so, don't you think it's a better alternative to slowly starving to death here? In one sense, could you not look at it as though I saved you?
That belief is why you committed your crime.
You...
Hey, what about the final dead room? Did you do the Russian roulette too?
You kinda have to, didn't he?
History.
Unlike Nagito, I only did it with one bullet, but compared to my battle with Nekomaru, that was mere child's play.
Well?
You know, after listening to you talk for a while, I'm starting to think that, well, it's also because even though this is sort of blatantly untrue, you unexpectedly admitted your crime without much resistance.
Gundam, don't tell me you didn't sacrifice yourself for our sake, did you?
I mean, you could look at it as I killed the thing that wasn't living, that was the sacrifice, but...
I can't believe you would ask such a foolish question.
My name is Gundam Tanaka!
Just who do you think I am? I am Gundam Tanaka, history's greatest monster! My cursed existence is feared by all mankind. There's no way I'd sacrifice myself for the sake of you fools.
That might be why he was so risky with it. Did it so sloppily.
Fade like dust in the wind.
Not in a million, not in a billion, not in 10 billion! 10,000 billion years! In the name of pandemonium, it is impossible!
Is that it? Then I'll just leave it at that.
Now then, let us be rid of this foolish talk. It's about time the fun started.
So, hides in his shell until the bitter end, huh? Where perhaps nothing is left but his own self-satisfaction? If there's more...
Maybe he's so far in his shell that there isn't anything left?
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't for one of the reasons I suggested earlier, like just to save his divas, like keep them from getting eaten.
Monokuma, let us begin.
Yes, indeed.
I just think he was horribly wrong, and that is very sad. And the problem is, it's very hard to understand what to take away from what he's saying at a time like this.
Because he's still got the shell up.
He never drops that mask. In the end, it looks like we never actually got to hear him talk in a different way. You could say it sort of broke the chain from the previous trials.
I suppose so.
What he did, he may have done out of a conviction, but because this shell is still up, I'm not so sure that he can ever actually refute what Akane said. That it's just a justification, a rationalization for it after the fact.
He may be keeping the shell up so we don't mourn him. Or the other people, as students.
Maybe. Yay! Got it! I have prepared a special punishment for the ultimate breeder, Gundam Tanaka!
Oh good, now it's time for an over-the-top execution to completely deflate all the emotions that have been built up.
Please wait!
This is just too much.
I beg of you!
Please, Monokuma, please help Gundam!
Huh?
Miss Sonia!
I beg of you!
How pitiful.
Sonia. An act as unrefined as stopping a man from going to his death does not befit a noble such as yourself. Gundam.
I suppose another way to look at it is Gundam is just as strong in his convictions as I am in mine. Have no reason to back down from them and no intention of backing down from them. It's fine to start for reals, right?
Fine.
Yes, I do not mind. However...
What is it, my four dark devas of destruction?
Do you think Sonia's going to take care of them?
Probably so.
Are you worried about me? Oh, my feared four dark devas of destruction. That is not like you at all. However, there is no need to fear. In this world, I am only a temporary visitor. I was simply visiting for a moment, and now that my duty is complete, I must return to the darkness. That is why, until the very end. Pride, conceit, courage, insolence, fearful of nothing, daunted by nothing. Let us laugh uproariously! That is Gundam Tanaka! I shall stick with my evil until the very end!
It's so very sad. It's like he chose his own ego. No, that's not what I mean to say. I just can't really believe that there isn't someone under all of this, you know?
I guess we'll find out in the FTEs, but here at the end, like everyone else revealed themselves at the end.
Right. Every single person so far. And he's saying, well, this is who I was all along.
That whole temporary visitor, this is just a shell.
I don't mind somebody acting like this, as I've made it really clear. But it's like...
He's completely bought into it?
Yeah. Fooled himself, perhaps.
Because if he was this kind of person, no animal would want to ever get near him. But he's the ultimate breeder.
He's been quite... Yes, and he's been quite kind, and actually in the past quite understanding of others. That's why we kept assuming that despite blah blah evil blah blah...
Supreme Lord of Ice and whatever.
That it wasn't anything like that. that there was at least somebody on the inside, and it's again, I'm not criticizing the Chuny attitude.
Right.
We've made that so clear, but it is interesting that even at the end, he not only chose to not drop that shell even for a minute or even for a moment, but also that he chose to cast that as such a noble and heroic thing.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks like it's a martyr complex, and even if this is wrong, how can anybody ever know? How can anybody... Like you said, there's the FTEs.
I hope.
Open sesame pandemonium! I shall fill hell with true hell!
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Well, this sort of makes sense.
Pretty straightforward.
Very appropriate. Them too?
Oh!
Why are you executing the divas?
Set them aside.
As he draws the magic circle. But is there going to be anything there? In the end, it was an act.
Okay. I guess going to heaven because he's so evil.
The people, the beings that did not betray him with them at the end, as he admitted that he betrayed everyone else. Gundam. I really don't have anything to say about that.
All in all, that was pretty tame.
I was gonna use the exact same word.
I didn't even mean to make a breeder pun or something.
I did. Like, everything in there makes a lot of sense. It's Gundam drawing a magic circle because such is the way that he lived, and feeling that true power that he held. That way he acted, the Chuny style that he never dropped even as he faced his own death, right up till the end. He believed in it. The light shone. But it wasn't real. It was an act. He acted that way because he wanted to, but it still wasn't real. And that's why nothing happened.
What I meant is that it wasn't as over the top as the others.
Yeah.
That fits. That goes against his Chuny.
He's so over the top that his execution is not over the top at all, and most of the time wasn't even an execution. It was him dealing with his animals in a way that's much more respectable than somebody like Junko. He did live, or he died as he lived.
Yeah, with the 4 divas. Even after Gundam is gone, the spirit of his parting words still lingered deep in our chests. Don't give up on life. Did I misunderstand what he meant? Then what's the right thing to do?
Well, from here to go forward, if you let anybody's sacrifices be in vain,
then you're just completely disrespecting everything
that's happened.
I don't know.
Like I said, I do not appreciate the naive let's all wait for death attitude, and you must trust your friend's attitude that Monami has. Calling Gundam wrong in this does not mean I was ever open to waiting for death.
No matter how much I think about it, I don't know if I'll ever be able to answer that.
Damn it.
Damn it! I'm so pissed off. I need to throw something.
Damn it!
You all spent so much time worrying about each other, and thanks to that, things ended up like this.
You be as mad as you need to, Akane.
You're all full of shit. Every last one of you. But the biggest piece of shit is me!
The worst.
Damn it! Why am I so weak?
Oh.
It's such a downer, clearly. But still, even though we feel this way, we still gotta do our very best.
You are right.
This time around, we must move forward. We must continue to live and believe in our friends. If not,
You are right.
Gundam will most likely crawl his way out of hell, and I presume he will be very cross with us.
You're right. We shouldn't just stand here. I mean, it's not like this is over. We still have to do it. We still have to finish this.
We do.
For the sake of our friends who have died, we need to finish this once and for all. So, don't just stand there. Stand up and walk. Move forward. Live. If you don't, everyone who fought and died will have died in vain. We can't allow that.
Hey, hey!
So, how long are you guys gonna stand around chattering? The class trial is over, so it's okay for you to hurry back over to Jabberwock Island. However, the killing school trip will proceed as usual, so make sure you know that.
Wait!
Oh, hold on. How much longer are you gonna keep doing this? Seriously, how long is he going to keep doing this? How long is this going to continue? When will he be satisfied?
Well, I can't speak for that, but doesn't Nagito have something? The main event?
That's what he was referring to, no doubt.
Now then.
All right, well, after feeling down for so long, I finally feel refreshed. Let's hurry back and eat some food.
Akane!
Hey, hey!
Hold on a sec! That mood shift is too damn fast!
Huh? Why?
It's not like that.
Well, you know, it's like Gundam and Nekomaru said. That's what it means to live.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
She's certainly something else. Seriously, I'm starving.
I think we can all agree on that.
Hey.
Then let's go back for now and eat. And then, after we're full, let's sleep as much as we want.
Right?
And then, let's do our best again.
Yeah, you're right. With this, the class trial has come to an end, and once again, we return to Jabberwock Island.
Well, that was just a miserable mess.
The size of our group has definitely diminished.
Down to 7 people.
But despite that, even if it was just the rest of us, we did our very best to stay upbeat and have fun together. Of course, our optimism was only superficial.
At this point in the first game, there were 6 people left, and that was it. That was it, and they stuck together.
Everyone had decided at that point, no more Monokuma.
And there wasn't any more. However, now there's 7, and aren't there 6 chapters?
I believe so, yes.
So if there's 6 chapters, it may not turn out the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, the parallels are done.
Quite clearly.
But at that moment, we were able to forget about the dark despair looming before us. However, the only thing I was worried about was Nagito. Was him. He wasn't there.
So he wasn't there to to talk about everything, to use those books.
To taunt.
Or whatever.
He suddenly disappeared from our sight. I love playing the pronoun game.
Back to this, huh? Yep, I'm definitely lucky. I never expected to obtain so many valuable things from a simple game of Russian roulette. Thanks to that, I was able to learn the identity of our true enemy. And before everyone else, too. But it's just too funny. I mean, no one could tell that I was lying. There's no way the file had just Hajime's information.
Yeah, I thought that was a little strange.
We did mention it once.
Well,
I guess they were too busy with other matters, or maybe they've reached their limit. Regardless, I was saved. Things would get complicated if they found out. Anyway.
What do you mean?
I can't forgive this.
Damn it.
This should never be forgiven. There's no way I can let this run loose. I'll be the one who stops this once and for all. Even if it costs me my life.
It's obvious.
For the sake of hope, I cannot ignore this.
What is going on?
Monokuma appears!
And now, Monokuma's the point of view character for a couple of lines anyway.
I mean, it was
or it's Nagito.
Monomi for a little bit.
All right! Monokuma has arrived! Who summoned me?
Now then.
Thanks for coming.
What's this?
Why, it's the lonely little Nagito. Are you all alone tonight, too?
What's the matter?
So what's up? Your face looks scary. I see. So you can tell. Oh, perhaps you found out who the traitor is? You know me well.
Well.
It's what I'd like to say, but unfortunately I haven't learned that yet. Oh, I see. So even you don't know, huh? It looks like the final showdown is going to take a little bit more time. Another chapter, maybe?
Hello.
So, why'd you summon me, anyway? Were you finally gonna confess your love?
Hey.
Ghibli, 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 ghibli.
I summoned you because there's something I really need to ask you. It's about the special prize from the final dead room. Oh yeah, what about it? By the way, isn't it funny how we're standing in front of this bomb? There was information about 16 people in the file I received. But isn't that weird?
Say what?
Well, what's weird?
You don't even know?
Well, there's a traitor from the Future Foundation hidden among us, right? Including that person, the total number of students would be 16, right?
Isn't that right?
But this file contains documents that were created at Hope's Peak Academy, right?
Of course.
Okay, well, there is a traitor.
The traitor could still be a student at Hope's Peak.
Right.
That doesn't mean anything.
That's right. I just reused the stuff that the former headmaster spent a lot of time making.
But...
If this file even contains information about the traitor, was that person also a former student of Hope's Peak Academy? Former.
Also, I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
Was that person also a former student? Well, I wonder.
Hey.
And Monokuma said he just reused things.
That the former headmaster used.
Looks like there doesn't have to be any connection between anything. It's a file that has information on students, and so he used a file that had information on the students.
Does he just mean he used the same format, or? Well, it kind of means like I would kind of think, based on the way he said it, he's implying something else.
Yeah, that's like, what about whoever the heck these people are, the Future Foundation or whatever Monokuma's with? It's not the ultimate despair, but ends up with this file. Oh, this is interesting. I wonder what this is about. And then blah, blah, digital, blah, blah. But I mean, wouldn't that successfully take care of it? That would give people that there was a file on, so there'd be information about these students.
Yeah, you're right.
And that would, and there would be something of a framework already set up for whatever it is they're doing, which again, remember the very beginning of the game.
Especially since we have drawn comparisons between these characters and the Danganronpa characters.
Maybe, anyway.
Could it be? Is this your doing? Did you slip false information into the file? Were you trying to keep us from learning the traitor's identity by obtaining this information? What's wrong with that? If it's my job to heat things up, it's okay if I do something small like that, right?
Well...
No, that's not my point.
Right?
My point is you already know who the traitor is.
Wouldn't it be weird if he didn't?
That seems to be the stranger thing, yeah.
What's wrong with that?
You're getting all riled up.
Well, you're splendidly correct when you say I knew who the traitor was all along.
But even though I know who it is, why do you think I ignored it on purpose?
It's just like Monokuma after losing a magic stick. The traitor's existence means absolutely nothing to me. I'm not the Future Foundation. And I'm pretty sure I specifically implied I'm not Ultimate Despair either. So, who cares?
Their existence means nothing, huh?
No.
Well, that's just how I feel. I'm sure you guys feel somewhat different, but that appears to be a theme of this, doesn't it? After all, that person is the evil Future Foundation lackey who's putting you guys through this awful stuff.
That's not entirely true. I didn't really come here to fight or anything like that.
I know, you just came here to give us a bunch of stuff to think about.
Basically, yes.
Instead, I came here to offer my cooperation, you know?
Huh?
Cooperation? Are you nuts?
Yes.
Your purpose is to fill everyone on this island with despair, right? That's why you're intentionally letting the traitor do as they please, right?
Yep, you betcha.
If that's the case, I might be able to cooperate somewhat too.
Right?
In the last trial, it was pretty much all thanks to me that everyone got out. But next time, I'm not gonna be on their side. Finally. However, in exchange, I want to know who the traitor is. I see. Interesting. Very interesting.
2 traitors for the price of 1.
No.
Obviously, that's a big no-no.
Unbelievable.
What would just stop you from going and saying, oh, by the way, the traitor is so-and-so? Not only that, do you want me to trust you? Are you crazy? Anyway, I want to make everyone in your group feel despair. That includes you too, even though you're such a weirdo.
And that's coming from me.
Well, I knew you would say that, but it was worth a shot.
Besides, I just wouldn't be able to handle the sadness when you inevitably betray me later on. Wasn't that sort of the entire point of this episode? All this betrayal here, betrayal there, betrayal in your hair? That was spur of the moment. Sorry, I'm kind of rusty.
Don't take baths.
I think you got me!
Just as I thought. You saw right through me.
You're right.
No matter what situation I find myself in, my core way of thinking will never change. In order to create absolute hope that shines brightly, stepladders such as myself and despair exist.
You're right! You're a true believer of hope after all. I must say, that belief reminds me of that person for some reason.
Oh, we get you, buddy.
So, seems like it's actually afterwards after all. Honestly, I find that pretty surprising. It just seemed like that would be the perfect switcheroo, is for the sequel to not actually be the sequel.
Yeah. Don't worry, maybe the 3rd one will be a prequel.
Reminds you? Well, I don't know who you're talking about, but if someone as worthless as me reminds you of some other person,
They must be extremely unlucky.
Like...
There was that brief point where you go to the report card, and Makoto was listed as ultimate unlucky student.
Uh-huh.
But you're just as unlucky, right? I mean, the fact that you're even involved in something like this.
Well,
Am I? I actually think I'm very lucky.
Did you not see the Russian roulette BS?
Say what?
Well, I did, but, I mean, no matter how lucky you are, everybody has at least a 1 in 6 chance of escape.
You don't know?
Wouldn't you say that coming across this much despair is a rather rare opportunity? Is there anybody who can really grasp the conversation we're having? I mean, I can't! I can't rely on anyone on this island. That's why I have to be the one who does it. If I can eliminate despair from this island, I won't be a stepladder anymore.
He wants to become the ultimate hope.
I'll become true hope. You nailed it.
Bam!
Nailed it instantly. I'll become an existence that could even be called ultimate hope. The two of you are alike. You definitely remind me of him. Hey, there's one more thing I want to ask you.
See?
Who are you waiting for on this island? What? And that seems to actually be it, huh? Looks like I'm right again. You're definitely waiting for someone on this island. Is the person you're waiting for already on this island? I mean, you see, I am not really sure how I should be answering you at this point. Is Nagito just going to take over Monokuma?
I don't know!
Well, answer my question.
That's...
If that's the case, if that person is already on this island, wouldn't that be exciting? And if that were the case, why would I tell you? Okay.
I am so confused.
I just can't help but think of like a particle collider or something when that starts up.
Beam cannon?
1113. Down to just 7. Down to just 7.
Hellhound earring.
Danganronpa. Danganronpa.